Sir, I'm going to give you a ticket for failing to comply with the commands of a constable. Any command a constable give you, no matter what, you must comply with that command. You must comply with that command. Let me break down that lie, don't audit the law, fans. We're going to examine section 91 of the Road Traffic Act today in this video, because I am seeing so many tickets being issued by constables since they get this machine for failing to comply. Everything they're just dishing out, failing to comply under the Road Traffic Act, and they don't understand what section 91 of the Road Traffic Act is really speaking about, or what that power is for. Remember now, a power can only be exercised with due regard for the purpose for which that specific power was given, and it cannot be used for any other purpose except said purpose. Any use of a power for a purpose under which it was never given is unlawful. It is the common law of constables that no power given to any public servant, any agent of the state, is to be exercised arbitrarily. See paragraph 23 and 24 in the case of Jamaicans for Justice versus the Police Service Commission and another Privy Council 2019 judgment. Constables, though section 91 of the Road Traffic Act gives the power to stop vehicles, that power cannot be exercised arbitrarily. Because there is no law that permits the arbitrary exercise of power, and I don't see any law will be passed ever that allows a power to be exercised arbitrarily, it simply means that as it stands, it is the common law. It means that there is not a written law. See it in that case that any power given must not be exercised based on personal whims, otherwise based on hunches. It means then that to exercise any power, such as a power under section 91 of the Road Traffic Act, as a constable, you must have a reasonable basis under which you are going to exercise that power, and it cannot be based on hunches or personal whims. It must be based on a reasonable basis. In other words, there is factual justification, there is reasonable suspicion of an offense, or that someone is about to commit an offense, or something relating to an offense. Failing to comply with the command of a constable. Now we have a lot of constables out there, and I've seen a lot of tickets being issued for failing to comply with the command of a constable. So I find it prudent that we're going to look into section 91 of the Road Traffic Act to look at what that section says and look at the interpretation of said section. Now, a lot of constables, when you read section 91, and constables, today I'm speaking to you specifically. I know the rest of the viewers and subscribers out there are interested in this, but this is for you more than anything else. Now, section 91 of the Road Traffic Act requires, as is read, it says the driver or operator of a vehicle shall obey all directions given by a constable in the execution of his duties to, listen to the key thing here now, stop the vehicle, keep the vehicle stationary, make the vehicle slow down, pass on any indicated side of the constable, that is what, the vehicle again, keep to any indicated side of the constable, again, the constable, that's a vehicle talking about, comply with any other directions given, again, that's what, the vehicle. Now, what I know about statutory interpretation is this. It's that last part that says comply with any other directions. That is the part that I am saying that constables are abusing, because they don't understand it. Anything, no matter what them tell somebody to do, I see them just a write ticket for failing to comply. Yep, failing to comply. Yep. Now, remember this section, everything there starts off with the vehicle. So in this section in statutory interpretation, when we look at what the statute is talking about, it is talking about the vehicle. What you have to do with the vehicle, not the person, or the vehicle. So when we look now at the last part that says comply with any other directions given, what that is speaking to is something that is similar to those directions given above as it relates to the vehicle. Yeah? So this section of the Road Traffic Act gives the constable the power to give a direction as it relates to the vehicle, and that must be some reasonable direction. Remember, viewers and subscribers, constables, that under administrative law, I think what is happening is that you're reading section 91 of the Road Traffic Act and another section, and you are forgetting that one section of the law alone does not govern the entire statute or how the statute operates. You have one law and you have another one. You have the Road Traffic Act, you have the Constabulary Forces Act, you have many, and we have the common law, which is not a written statute. Yes? It is the court's interpretation of the law that is also the law of the land. And where there is no statute that says otherwise, the common law takes precedence. Now, constables, when you look at the common law provision, and I'm going to quote again the 2019 case of Jamaicans for Justice versus the Police Service Commission and another. I've quoted that in videos in the past. In that case, the Privy Council made it clear in section 23 to section 24, paragraph 23 and paragraph 24 of that judgment, that the JCF and all public servants must conduct their duties in a way that shows respect for the Constitution, and that the constable, the JCF, is not to execute their powers arbitrarily. So make me look again what arbitrary mean. Arbitrary simply means based on personal whims. In other words, personal whim mean that we just get up and say, you know, say the car they look like, say, I want car where people always are a thief. Me ever stop the car there. That is a personal whim. You know, say vehicles that TIDAs are, Axios are whatever, are, profiling. Those vehicles are always used in the commission of crime. So me I go stop them vehicle there today. That again is not a reasonable reason to stop a vehicle. Emans versus the Attorney General. Now, personal whim and arbitrariness is when you just get up and you don't have no reasonable reason. You just say, you know what, I'm going to stop that vehicle today. And I don't have any reason, then me I say them vehicle there, no reasonable reason, then me I say, me I go stop the one there, man. There's no pattern to what you're doing. You just get up and decide you're going to do it. There's no procedure that guides what you're doing. Those are the things that makes your exercise of duty unreasonable. Now, once you are exercising a duty or exercising a power and you are doing it arbitrarily, the common law makes it unlawful for any constable, any public servant to exercise any power arbitrarily. So though you have a power under section 91 to stop a vehicle, to command the driver to keep the vehicle stationary, and any other directions by the constable, such use of power cannot be arbitrary. It must be that you have a reasonable basis for that. And you can watch other videos that I speak about reasonableness of the execution of the power. Yeah? And constables, I continue to remind you that if you read section 33 of the Constabulary Force Act, you will see that that section of the Constabulary Force Act opens all constables to be sued personally, not the Attorney General now, even though they can be sued too, but personally, for any action taken by a constable, any action it says. And any action means even when you're using powers under section 91 to stop a vehicle. If you stop the vehicle and you did not have reasonable or probable cause, as is required by section 33 of the Constabulary Force Act, then you can be sued personally for that action. So remember, constables, no single act governs your conduct. The common law requires that the exercise of all powers must not be arbitrary, based on randomness. It must not be random. So just get up and just stop any vehicle you see coming because you're going to say you're going to check if they have a license. That without any reasonable cause, that is arbitrary. So constables, remember now, no one law governs or no single law governs your conduct. Administrative law and the common law requires that to exercise any power, that power must never be exercised in an arbitrary manner. It must be that it is not based on personal whims or hunches. You cannot just get up and decide to exercise a power at random. That is the very definition of an arbitrary exercise of power. There are other ways in which one could say the power is exercised arbitrarily, but in the interest of time, we will just look at that aspect right now. Yes? So constables, just get up and decide to stop a vehicle because Section 91 of the Road Traffic Act gives you the power to stop a vehicle is not a lawful reason to stop a vehicle, because the common law mandates that no power is to be exercised arbitrarily. The Constitution also protects against arbitrary exercise of power. So if we don't understand, I hope that after today, after listening to this, let us share this video, share the knowledge, so that we can let Jamaica become a lawful state again. I can understand that some of us are acting out of plain ignorance of the law and simply reading just one section of a statute and saying, oh, well, I can stop any vehicle. See there, Section 91 said that. But we have to remember, Section 91 is just of the road traffic because it is one law. But there are other laws that govern your conduct. And it is the common law. There is no written statute that gives any power. There is no written statute that has overridden the common law provision that a constable can exercise a power arbitrarily. No written law. Common law say you cannot, and therefore you cannot. Until next time. Do continue to like, subscribe, share, and leave your comments as we work together to educate the public. Remember, this does not constitute legal advice. If you want legal advice, go pay an attorney based to look at your unique situation, and they will help you with applying and interpreting the law as it applies to your unique situation.